Heading into the morning of the 23rd of April 2021, I'm meteorologist Robert Speta talking about Typhoon Surigae now pulling away from the Philippines. They're still recovering out there. My attention as far as the forecast is concerned, continuing the shift across the southern Japanese islands over towards Minami Daito as well. Large waves, gusty conditions. There are warnings in place at this time due to the outer fringes of the storm. The good news, the storm is continuing to weaken. And what I mean by that, the center pressure continuing to rise, winds overall are going down, a lot to do with drier air, cooler sea surface temperatures. This graphic here is showing you that upper level winds, and what you really can see is the winds are exceptionally high in the eastern side of the storm. Basically, this is almost getting blown out like you would blow out a birthday candle. That's what I mean by that. A wind shear basically coming and interacting on the jet stream. You could just see that on the infrared simulator imagery, that hard side on the left here, and basically that shear shield shifting off towards the east. Regardless, it's still windy in the center of circulation. Winds right now are 155, gusting to 194 kilometers per hour, pressure at 950 hectopascals, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, moving towards the north at about 15 kilometers per hour. Here's the official track from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. That's the U.S. military located in Hawaii. They warn for all U.S. military assets across the Western Pacific, as well. The National Weather Service in Guam uses them, and I think they got a good handle on this storm. Some excellent forecasters out there. I just want to note that's why I'm using them instead of the Japan Meteorological Agency. Taking a closer look, though, they do keep that track south of Okinawa, Honto, and the southern Japanese islands, including Kadena. By the way, it is pronounced Kadena. Every time I make one of these videos and I pronounce these places correctly, I worked on TV for many years out here in Japan. If you spoke Japanese, you would know the E here on Kadena would be an I if you pronounced it Kadena the way I noticed a lot of the military pronounces it out there. I even served and I used to pronounce it the wrong way until I was told many times by my colleagues at NHK I was saying it wrong. All right, anyways, here's a look at the forecast from JTWC, that wind field. This right here indicates that tropical storm strength winds, how far it extends off towards the north. So not quite tropical storm strength on the southern Japanese islands, but still close enough where you're going to be looking at these gusty conditions. In fact, from JMA, this is official warning from JMA, they do say winds could be upwards of 30 meters per second on the main island of Okinawa. That's about a gust of 65 miles per hour. I think that is extreme. It's a bit high. Sustain's likely going to be around 30, 40 miles per hour. But not to say that maybe these immediate coastal areas here, some of the outer islands, they do have wind gauges out there. Could they report a gust that high? Possible, but for most of you, it's not going to be quite that big. One thing I do want to know is the waves, though. 5 meters or about 15 to 20 feet. Don't venture out into the water. I know the surf might sound great, but this is probably not good for surfing, first of all. It's going to be choppy, very large swells coming in. The other thing is, if you do want to surf, be sure you're experienced, because it definitely is going to come with rip currents. And the other thing is, don't let this catch off guard. Too many times over the course of, doing these updates and typhoon updates on Okinawa since 2009, I have talked about people getting washed out due to large waves. It actually happened to a few airmen, I would say, back in either 2012 or 2013 on the northern portions of the island. They went to take pictures and got washed out. They were found several days later out of the water, of course, deceased, and we don't want anything tragic like that to happen again. Peak winds will be Friday night through Saturday morning. By the way, that warnings there, I took that straight off the Japan Meteorological Agency website. That's what it looks like if you can read Japanese. All right, so here's a look at the main point. Storm watch also has been issued by the military out there for Okinawa, as well as the warnings from JMA. The storm is being sheared apart and continuing to weaken with those large waves likely for southern Japan. So Friday afternoon through Saturday morning, I would say a trampoline level 1 in place. You don't want to be that person that doesn't tie down their trampoline. How much you guys want to bet? For my friends watching from Okinawa, especially the military, 72 hours from now, we will have a video of a trampoline flying somewhere. Guarantee it. That's how you can tell there's a U.S. military base nearby, because Japanese don't have trampolines. in their backyards. I can guarantee you that. Gusty conditions will predominantly be coming in from the East Coast, though. So that's the key thing as well. I do want you to know is that we do have those winds, basically, as I mentioned, higher off here along the east. But let's say your American town area, even down towards Naha as well, you're a little bit more sheltered from the worst of these conditions. They're predominantly going to be an East Coast or Northeast Coast event out here. Moderate it's basically lawn furniture, things you can't tie down. We're definitely not expecting anything to cause significant damage. The building structures out here in Okinawa are top notch because of the amount of typhoons they get. My goodness, the codes are absolutely insane. So yeah, don't be that person that launches their trampoline at their neighbor's house. All right, here's a look at the bigger picture, though. The storm is turning east, mainly because of that passing upper level trough that's going to pull it off here. One thing I do want to note, I do expect it maybe to stall out a bit just north of the Mariana Islands, towards the southwest of the Ogasawara Islands, as well as it continues to weaken instead of just charging north and east. Taking a look at the forecast here on the models, this is the ECMWF south of Okinawa as we go ahead through Friday morning. You also got Miyakojima, I should say, back here towards the west. And then Minami Daito right here. They're definitely going to get the highest conditions, about 5,000 people live out there. They are used to typhoons for sure. You know, I'm sure they get the most typhoons of anybody on the planet, to be honest with you. This is where you're going to be seeing those higher gusts here on Friday night, though, heading into Saturday morning. That's when, yeah, those winds likely gusts for most of you around 50 miles per hour. As I mentioned, isolated areas could see a little bit higher, but 50 is, for the most part, the top notch here. And then by Saturday morning, continuing to slowly back off just a bit. And then we head in Saturday evening, the storm starts to shift towards the east. As I mentioned, might be even stalling out just north of the Mariana Islands, located just off here towards the east as well. So that's just a quick look. It is a skirter. It's passing south of Okinawa, so you're not going to be seeing typhoon conditions. I can't stress it enough. If you're somebody maybe new to the island, you're probably thinking, where was the wind? It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a strong breeze. Could catch some people off guard if you don't know it's coming, but if you do and you're prepared, it's not a huge impactor here. The waves are going to be one of the big things, I think. Definitely some very large surf across some of these southern portions of the island out here as well. All right, anyways, thank you very much for everybody who's been helping me out on Patreon. If you are new, or if you have just, kind of delayed or maybe even thought about helping me out, I really appreciate it. I'm trying my hardest. I feel like I'm so close, but every time I get closer and closer, something new comes up. So the money is going to be helped to go to some new graphics. That's the key thing. I mean, just $2 a month is all I really ask for, but you could give more. That would be the best. Yeah, it's definitely going to be, these are the new graphics I'm looking at, and they're going to make these videos that much better. Not only that, but I'll probably be able to put out more because it doesn't take me as much time to put them together. And this is all done on PowerPoint, so I got to paste, copy, analyze, yada, yada, yada. It's such a pain. This is an image from weathermodels.com, by the way. This is SpaghettiOs, we call them. They're ensembles, and it basically just shows our storm kind of pulling off towards the east. Pretty good agreement in the guidance. It lingers there north of the Mariana Islands before shifting east, but nothing else showing up in the extended forecast, at least at this time. So, hey, if you got any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know. I know there's a lot of information to digest. I like to go into detail in these videos. So, yeah, I hope you found it useful. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you really found it useful, check out our Patreon. I'll put a link down below, or you can follow me on all these social media platforms. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe out there.